All right, here we go. So today what we're going to go over real quick, we've already kind of gone over it before. Like I said, it's with modules, and we've imported modules. Oh, and I guess I'll go over how to do that too. So we've imported Pygame before, and in our game we have, let me just double check exactly what we have. Import Pygame, and then we have from pygame.locals import star. We don't really know, I didn't really explain what any of this means. I just said do it. So I'm going to start with just this first line, import. What import allows us to do is it allows us to import code that's already been written by someone else. Alright, I know. So import random is probably the one you'll use the most. Random is, and I'll actually show you the code while you guys type that up.
So random is like comes like pre-installed.
Yep, when you install Python, you install a bunch elemental PQR.
Is that like random number?
Yeah, but oopsies. Yeah, so it allows you to do random number generators.
I thought you could do that before.
Isn't that random number generator stuff
It's
looks
not
like
like
a random
random.int,
factor?
it's random.
It depends.
No, that's what you do. Do we have the random places?
Okay. No. So this file is called random.py, which is why when I'm telling you guys don't name your files just one name, don't name this file random, because if you try to import random, it will import the file you're working on and not the actual one called random. That's why I told you don't name your game that we make in class just Pygame, because you will, instead of importing the correct block of code, it will import the code you're working on, and you're importing the code you're working on into the code you're working on, which doesn't make sense. So this is written by Python, by people who made Python. So you have random class, and the one we're going to use is rand range and rand int. Rand int uses rand range for rand int. So what this does is we call, when we run this, in order to get a random number, you do random dot rand int. And notice this popped up and it says A to B returns random integer in range A to B. And on my screen over here, you guys can't see, it says includes both endpoints. So let me, including both endpoints. So 10 comma 20 or 120 will give me a random number between will give me a random number from 1 to 120, or from 10 to 120, including 10 and 120.
Yay, we don't have to do 121.
I did not save that to the right spot. So this gave me a random number. When I run it again, 72, 115, 115, 96, 30. Now if I wanted to print 10 random numbers in my code, what would I do? Ezra? That would be if I wanted a random number between 1 and then 10 plus 1, so 1 through 11. I want 10 individual random numbers. So I want it, instead of me having to go, all right, 18, 15, 81, I want it to go, boom, here's 10. What do I do?
Times 10.
No, Josh?
Sorry, no, go ahead.
Catherine, do you know? Say that again.
Like, you pick up
A loop. Yep. So what would the code be for the loop?
range.
Just range like that?
And for range for x and range 1 to 10.
I can just put 10. There we go. Right? Wait.
I knew it.
Did you?
Oh, if you want to print 10 different numbers, you have to run it through a loop, right?
It isn't a loop though.
No, you have to put the random int in the loop. You have to
Oh, I have to put this in there?
Yeah, because then it redefines it every time. But you always
Oh.
Good work, soldier.
There you go.
There you go.
So does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir.
We have to put the random, we have to put this part inside of the loop. Otherwise, we define it once, and then it just stays like we saw here. 63 the whole way down. It selected a random number and then copied it 10 times as opposed to creating a new variable 10 times. Does that make sense? Yeah, so you could, so let's say we want to have our guy spawn in our game between $50 and if it's 6, we'll do 600. Random, then I'm going to put random X number, copy, paste, random Y number, and then I do random X. And then I can put hero coordinates. And so these are the spawning coordinates he'd spawn at: 509 and 317, 70 and 259. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Mikey.
When's the next time we're gonna work on Pygame after the test?
Well, we'll start lists, so, and then we got to get good with lists, so maybe another 2 weeks.
Oh, and they also design the art.
Yeah, well, I have all your guys's. Oh, speaking of, there's one person in this class who did not turn that in. Sonny, do you have the artwork for the game? I didn't have. If you finished it, just upload it. I changed the due date, so it won't be late. But I just need that because I need to send that to McCallum. All right. Do you guys have any questions on how to use rand? Well, not how to, but
Will there be a question using random in the test?
I don't know.
No. Will it be like?
If there is, it'll be like.
Will it be a coding question?
There won't be a coding question. If anything, there'll be a multiple choice. Because there's more than just rand int. Okay? So now what I want to show you guys is you can also import random, not ransom. Import random as R. And instead of having to do random.randint, you can do r.randint.
Well, it's so much work.
That is.
And then I think, so you can do that. And I think, no. There's also a way where you can get rid of you can get rid of this altogether.
Like, for example, we can have our character position set random now.
From random. Oh, yeah, you can also do, okay. I thought that was how you do it. Yeah, so you can now have your character start at a random location, so
Yay.
instead of this, you can type this. So by using this import random as R, you can type r.randint as opposed to random.randint. I like this because one, you know that you're still using a module, as opposed to this where from random import star, that gets rid of this requirement. You don't have to have something dot function, you can just have the function. It's up to you guys if you guys like to use that. I would give you guys a little bit of hesitation on using that just because if you want to use a different if you want to use a variable name later, like one of the ones that might confuse you is you can have random.choice, and what this does is it will randomly choose between the things in here. So it will select, and this is actually how you would have spawn points. Oh. So it chose 456. So it looked each one of these things. Now this right here with the brackets, that's a list, and we're going to learn that right after the test. But that's just how choice works, r.choice. Now, if later in the code you wanted choice to equal an input, you wouldn't be able to if you were using this. Because if I don't use import random as R, and I just have this, it still works, but I can't really use choice later. I mean, I can, but now, wait, is this a variable or is this a module that I'm using? So I would recommend not doing this, and I would recommend at least doing this if you want to shorten up your code. Import random as R and have R dot stuff. So this removes the R dot or random dot requirement, and you can just type the function name. So, okay, so do you guys have any questions so far? Okay, so I want to go over a few of the more popular random number thingamabobbers. So import random as R. Then you have r.randint from this from all these produce a random int from 1 to 10 includes 1 and 10. Just so you guys can all see it on one screen. Does that make sense to you guys? You can, I'm not, but you can. Print r.rand range. Now this, what if I wanted a random even number from 1 to 100, or from 0 to 100? That's what you would use range for. Just like we use range to give us every third number from 1 to 100, range will get that group of numbers and then randomly select one from it. So how do you guys think we would do a random number, a random multiple of 5 from between 0 and 100, including 100? Ezra.
Would it be like you do range 100, you said?
Yep.
0, 100, 5.
Almost perfect. What's he missing?
100 plus 1.
100 plus 1. So I can make that 101. Because I want to include 100, and anytime we use range, this we have to add 1 to it. I don't know why, and you can actually see in random. So the rand int function uses rand range, but adds 1 to the end.
Range has to be, yeah.
And if you go up here, like I'm not going to read all this, but rand range, yeah, I can't read the whole thing. 'Cause but yeah, one thing, if you mess with this code, you break it. You'll break Python. You won't be able to use random. It is possible to rename these, so if you don't like the name rand range and you want to use awesome function number 1, you can. You would just have to rename every place rand range is on here. So you could find rand range. Actually, watch this. So what do you guys want this function to be called? Awesome function?
Awesome, crazy, sick, dude.
Okay, that's too much. Awesome function. So I'm going to find rand range, and I'm going to replace it with awesome underscore function. Replace all. Yes, it is. I'm saving it. What? I can't save this?
What did you do?
That's smart.
I've been able to do this in the past. It's permission denied, but I'm an admin on this computer. I should be able to do whatever I want.
That's only Linux. Maybe you have a virus in your computer.
I don't have a virus in my computer.
Are you sure?
Yes, I have an antivirus on here.
You from yourself.
I don't want to protect me from myself.
And you could switch to Linux.
Alright, well,
Linux does not protect you from yourself.
whatever. But you can do that. Obviously, I've done it in the past, so I probably just have to change permissions on my computer, but I don't want to do that right now. So please don't do that. But rand range, this is correct. This will produce a random integer, a random multiple of 5 as an int from 1 to 100, includes 1 and 100. So then when I run this, I get 1 and a 20. I get 1 and 100. I get 1 and 40. 9 and 15. 45. 0. 85. Does that make sense? Okay. Now we have print r dot random. Produces a random float that's less than 1. So this is a nice way if you want one to produce a random float. So if you want this to be a multiplier in a video game, so it randomly, if you hit this bad guy or whatever, it will randomly multiply your score by 1 plus this number. I don't know. Or score, if score is 10, and then you do score equals score times r dot random. So now our score went down. Or you could do 1 plus and now it'll always go up. But by a different amount every time. So again, if you just need a random number, a random float, you use r.random. You can do print r.uniform. This will actually give us a random float in between our two numbers. You guys paying attention or on your phones or computers?
I'm paying attention to that on my computer.
Alright, well I know what I'm doing this afternoon. I'm making sure that that on-campus filter works. So, this produces a random float in between the two numbers. I don't know if it includes 10. I don't think so. I think it's less than 10. But you will, I would guarantee, I would nearly guarantee that you would never ever get 10.0.0 or 10.0.0 because I think this is 12 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you would have to have, like, it's 1 over 10 to the 16th power that you would get all one number here anyway. So you're not going to get not 10.000000000. If I had to guess, it's less than 10. Just my guess. Yes.
Is there any way of doing like a for loop and like have it go until it like it's had a repeated like value?
Would that be a for loop or a while loop?
Oh yeah, wow.
Why would it be a while loop, Mikey?
Well, wait. Because it used to never end.
Because I don't know how long it's going to take for that to happen. It could be this. It could be the first 2 gets me whatever, or it could be 1 over 10 to the 6th. 16. So that would be a while loop. But you could do. I don't know what the condition would be. I'd have to think about that for a little bit.
While whatever is not equal to right? Then you print.
Oh yeah, you could do while. So. One comma 10, while x doesn't equal 10.1. Well, x is less than 10. X is r dot uniform 1 comma 10. Oh, darn it.
Wait, open a task manager.
I don't think it'll ever stop because I don't think you'll ever hit 10 because I think uniform is less than 10. It will never hit 10. The closest it would get would be 9.9999999999999.
I have a question. Can you open up task manager now and see?
If it hits 10,
Holy cow! What are you doing?
I'm trying. I'm running a.
if it hits 10, I'm gonna be so happy. Oh,
That was 13,000 lines of code we just cycled through.
Holy what?
wow.
Uniform, random, rand, range. I got uniform, right? So those are the big 4. The next biggest one is choice, but that requires us to know about lists. Wow, we only have a few more minutes.
What?
Spaghetti.
Yeah.
What period of lunch is after the 3rd or after the 4th?
I think it's after 4th. Yes, Catherine.
So, for the random thing, are dot random that only,
It does not need parameters, no. It's just from 0 to 1, but less than 1. Any questions? Okay, so what I would expect on the quiz is, or the test, which of the following random modules would produce a number less than 1? It'd be something like that. Or which of the following produces a random integer between these two numbers? And you'd have to select which one. That would be the most I would quiz you guys on the test, for the upcoming test. Again, this is saved online under. Actually, no, it's not. Let me just change that real fast for you guys.
So our homework is to the test.
Yeah, I have it right here, so I'll give it to you guys in just a sec. So second hour. Alright, so it's called random modules. You guys should have it there. The homework is to, and you guys will have all day tomorrow to work on this in class. And there's 6 problems. Again, problem 4 is probably going to be the most confusing. Number 1 also. I'll go through that with you guys real quick as I pass this out. Hopefully I get through it before the bell rings. But it says a painting company has determined that for every 115 square feet, 1 gallon of paint is required. Yes, it is. They're very not good painting company. They're very wasteful. So 115 square feet requires 1 gallon of paint.
I don't lie.
Yes.
That's like
Uh,
she's sticking paint on the wall.
Big, bro.
Is there a knife in that wall? Is like
I mean, I pick the wall.
So, guys, let me get through this real quick. So for every 115 square feet of wall space, 1 gallon of paint and 8 hours of labor is required. Meaning to paint 115 square feet, it takes them 8 hours. This is not a good painting company. They also charge $20 per labor hour. So meaning with 1 gallon of paint, you're going to charge them they're going to charge you $160 to paint 115 square feet of space. This company's a ripoff. But they've hired us to code this, so we got to do it. Write a program that asks the user for the total square feet to be painted, the price of paint per gallon, and the color of paint. The program should display the following data: the number of gallons required. So that's just a simple total number of feet divided by 115 should give you the number of gallons required. You'll need to round up. So if it takes me 12.5 gallons, I'm going to need 13 gallons. Okay? I should have put that on there. Round up. What? Well, we know how to round down, right?
Yeah.
Right, so if it's 12.5 gallons, how do you get 13? You integerize it and add 1. Or you add 1 then integerize it.
No, if it's just 12 straight gallons, then it will automatically be an extra gallon.
Actually, you know what? I don't care. Forget that. You can have half gallons. Just as long as the math is right. Forget that. Yeah, sorry, Josh. So, you can have half gallons, but the price has to be right. So the number of gallons required, the hours of labor required. So again, if it's 2 gallons of paint, that's 16 hours. Cost of the paint. If it's 2 gallons times the price of the paint. So you're asking the user for 3 things again: square footage, the price of the paint, and the color of the paint. Then you are calculating the following: the number of gallons required, the hours of labor required, the cost of the paint, which is the number of gallons, times the user's price of paint. You need to display the color of the paint, the labor charges, and the total cost of the job. My recommendation is to go through and hand write, or to put number of gallons is this times that. Once you then in here in your code, you get all the information from the user, you do all of your calculations, and then you display all the information. Everything else should be pretty self-explanatory. But again, you guys have all day tomorrow to work on it. So
Start tonight, maybe, or?
you guys may want to start it tonight, up to you. But regardless, the test is due. The test is Friday.
We're doing the handwrite this stuff, buddy?
No, you can code this.